Family, we are back. I want to thank everybody for being here. Today, I want to get into a video that was sent to me and shout out. I don't know why this person never wants to get shouted out, but it's cool. I don't mind, but good looking out. Anyway, we are the aliens. Life's installer journey to Earth. Listen, it's the Wi-Fi's. Let's see what Bro and the Fish is talking about. Let's get it.
Files is brought to you by the Wi-Fi.
Take this time to like the vid. It's okay, y'all. If you're here and you're not liking the vid, you ought to be feeling weird right now. You're probably one of them people that eat food that you don't like. So let's get it.
And we have reason to believe that you have far more information.
Each and every one of them, DNA. There was a loud hiss, a door opened, and a capsule was ejected toward the planet below. The vessel powered up its engines as soon as the payload entered the atmosphere. Moments later, the ship bolted out of the solar system and onto its next destination. The alien capsule glowed red hot as it pushed through the Earth's atmosphere. This wasn't a problem, it was designed for this. When the object hit the water, the impact was violent. This was also expected. The capsule opened. Out poured what looked like thousands of glass beads. Each of these beads contained millions of organisms. The ocean water dissolved the beads and released the organisms into the boiling seas. Most died immediately. This was also expected, but some survived.
Are we those organisms, you guys? Were we dropped from a capsule? The way we look at ants, is there another group of people looking at us the same way? As big as we are to ants, they're big as that to us. That's really how I've always thought about it since I was a little boy. Like, okay, look at these ants down here. They got a colony. Okay. Look how big we are. Look at how little they are. Who brought us here? Like, that was my thought process as a little kid. And I just correlated it just like such,
These pioneering organisms thrived in the depths of the ocean, around hydrothermal vents heated by the Earth's core. The organisms adapted, evolved, and diversified. This was the plan. And so the tiny planet Earth began its journey from a barren piece of lifeless rock to a vibrant oasis of life. The creators knew it would take a few billion years for intelligent life to evolve. This was all encoded in the DNA of those first microorganisms. The DNA was a program. The programmers knew that when their creations were finally ready, they'd decode the program and find a way to call home. There is a growing group of scientists who believe life on Earth began from microbes delivered from space. This theory is called Panspermia.
Yes, spermia.
Please don't be immature. In Greek, pan means all and sperma means seed.
Jeez.
Anyway, Svante Arrhenius was a major proponent of this theory. And when it came to biochemistry, he knew what he was talking about. It was 1908, and Arrhenius was a Nobel Prize-winning chemist working in Sweden. The accepted theory of life's origin is abiogenesis. This refers to the process where chemical reactions of inorganic material form organic material, which eventually becomes life. And this happened on Earth about 3.5 billion years ago. Arrhenius wasn't buying it. The ancient Greeks had a much simpler theory. They suggested the seeds of life were present everywhere in the universe. And they weren't talking about alien spacecraft dropping probes into primordial seas. They felt that bits of space dust contained seeds of life. The Greeks and Arrhenius believed that when the space dust arrived on Earth, it brought life with it. Then evolution took over and created millions of new species of plants and animals. But life coming from outer space is tricky. Even in its most basic form, it shouldn't be able to survive the harshness of space. So Arrhenius set to find out. He created extreme environments in a lab. He subjected living microorganisms to deadly cold temperatures, near 0 Kelvin. If these microbes were from space, they could handle it, because nothing else on Earth could handle 0 Kelvin. 0 Kelvin may not sound that cold, but it is. We're talking minus 459 degrees Fahrenheit, basically the temperature of deep space. The microorganisms could not survive those temperatures. Arrhenius was disappointed. But then he slowly and carefully applied heat. Most microbes remained inert, but some, when reheated very carefully, activated again. They were alive. This shouldn't have happened. The ability to survive in minus 450 degree cold was not driven by natural selection in our terrestrial environment. These seem to be the abilities developed on another world. The pH
Take this time to like the video, y'all.
logarithmic, so a pH level of 6 is 10 times more acidic than neutral. A pH level of 5 is 100 times more acidic, and so on and so on. Exposure to acid is very bad for humans. It's bad for almost every living thing on Earth. Almost every living thing. There are bacteria that live happily in sulfuric acid with a pH of 0.3. That is 5 million times more acidic than human blood. Even in those extreme conditions, life exists. And photosynthetic bacteria. Other missions prove that lichen can also survive in space. And tardigrades, by the way, are most often found on lichen. Could an asteroid carrying lichen and tardigrades have seeded life on Earth? Well, it's been proven that they could survive the impact. If certain bacterial spores are shaded from direct sunlight and radiation, as they would be inside a meteor, they can survive in space for years. Yeah, but for bacteria to be transported across space, it would need to survive for millions of years, and that rocks from the second stage of Earth's geological timeline, the Archean Eon. This is when the Earth began to cool, a crust developed, and the oceans formed. The atmosphere was a combination of methane and ammonia, and the sun was only 75% as bright as today, but this was good enough for life to begin. We know because, amazingly, there are places on Earth where rocks still exist from that time. One of these places is the Isua Greenstone Belt in Greenland. This strip of volcanic rocks dates back 3.8 billion years, and geologists have found direct evidence of life there. Microbial colonies formed about 3.7 billion years ago. Fine, this proves what scientists suspected. Early life began in the Archean Eon, and not before. But some of the oldest rocks on Earth are found in the Jack Hills in Western Australia. Incredibly, you can stand on rock formed in the Hadean Eon, the time of hell on Earth before life even existed. However, scientists found something surprising when they studied zircon crystals from the area. Zircon is unique among all materials on Earth. Zircon grows in volcanic rock, and although the crystals are thinner than a human hair, they're nearly indestructible. Zircon even outlasts the rocks in which they're originally formed. Researchers have found zircons going back 4.4 billion years, pretty close to the actual birth of the planet. So the one thing scientists don't expect to find inside a 4.1 billion year old zircon crystal is the sign of life. Except that's exactly what they found. They found biogenic carbon with isotopic signatures matching organic matter. The zircon is 4.1 billion years old. This means life had to develop in the much harsher environment of the Hadean Eon before oceans and a stable atmosphere formed. At the same time, comets and meteors were constantly raining down on the planet. And Panspermia says these meteors were bringing life with them, lots of life. And for years, the theory of panspermia, that comets were the source of life, was marginalized. It was pseudoscience. The surface of the Earth was too hot. It was molten rock. Life can't survive that.
The conditions that would most likely to have prevailed near the impact-riddled Earth's surface 4.1 to 4.23 billion years ago were too hot even for simple organic molecules to survive, let alone evolve into living complexity. This leaves panspermia as the most plausible valid option for the origin of terrestrial life.
To amino acids, which are necessary to form life. The Giotto mission also detected the presence of so-called Chon particles, CHON. named because they're rich in carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. This was more evidence that comets really were transporting life's ingredients across the stars. Space agencies worldwide combined for 12 more missions to examine comets up close. They discovered even more complex organic molecules, such as ethanol, formaldehyde, glycolaldehyde, like amino acids.
The barbershop.
Take this time to like the video, y'all.
Discovery. But then things got even more interesting. Samples of the comet were brought back to Earth and analyzed. Not only did they confirm ammonium salts were present, but they also discovered the presence of the amino acid glycine. Scientists had officially found a fundamental building block of life on a comet. And there are thousands of comets zipping around our solar system. And we now know they contain organic molecules. But thousands of comets doesn't even begin to describe how many objects there are out there. Surrounding our solar system is a vast area called the Oort cloud. The Oort cloud is so large that the outer edge reaches almost a quarter of the way to the nearest star. It's staggeringly big, and it contains trillions of objects. Trillions. And these objects were even more common in the early solar system when they were busy delivering water to create Earth's oceans. From nautiloids like clams and oysters. But those are nothing like the octopus at all. This mysterious leap can only be explained by
Aliens.
Yep, extraterrestrial intervention. Exchanges of rock between planets in our own solar system like Earth and Mars is a fact, and quite common. We've found Mars rocks here, and it's safe to assume there are Earth rocks on Mars. If biomatter hitched a ride on those
Earth rocks on Mars.
rocks and the conditions were right, life would evolve. Mars was once very Earth-like, with a stable climate and lots of surface water. If microbes evolved there, they very well could have ended up here. In 1996, a meteorite from Mars was examined under a microscope. It appeared to contain fossilized microbes. It's a controversial claim, but with what we now know about comets, life on Mars seems very plausible.
Facts.
Today, Rock 84001 speaks to us across all those billions of years and millions of miles. It speaks of the possibility of life. If this discovery is confirmed, it will surely be one of the most stunning insights into our universe that science has ever uncovered. Its implications are as far-reaching and awe-inspiring as can be imagined.
What?
No Clinton joke?
Oh, no.
Sure.
I would never joke about the Clintons.
Yeah, but when we're off camera, you joke about the Clintons all the time.
I never joke about the Clintons ever.
You've made quite a few.
Can we move on, please?
Fine. If life evolved in our solar system, then chances are it's going to be found everywhere where the conditions exist to support it. Mars has water ice, and once had a vast ocean just like Earth. Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, has liquid ocean under its icy shell. Jupiter's gravity causes tidal forces on Europa that create heat. Enceladus, a moon of Saturn, also has a subsurface ocean. Pluto for many years, but that doesn't do you any good if your rock vaporizes when hitting the Earth's atmosphere. You're going to need a pretty big rock to get through.
Listen, y'all, I'm going to put it like this. We are not responsible for us. If you catch my drift, there's something bigger, there's something greater, however you want to call it, whatever you want to say. It's something bigger than us, and it's always been. Now, life on other planets, I believe it, but what you got to think of when you say life on other planets, these could be the smallest of organisms, point blank, period. So let me know your thoughts, y'all. How do you guys think a lot of our worldly monuments got here? The big heads that are underground and in the ocean and the pyramids and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm out. Peace.